Hello everyone, this is Baduk, and I guess I'm here playing a Tygem 1Q game. Yeah, that's what it looks like. And this looks like game 3. So let's jump into this and see how it goes. All right, looks like we may have gotten a game and I might be black. Let's see how this goes. He's responding already. I'm going to play my normal sort of opening. And I think I will approach him first. We gotta get to 10 moves before they decide to resign or not. Yeah, knight's move here. I think it feels a little bit flat, but I do think I'm fine with just doing the 2 space here, keeping it simple. Making a base on this side, that's probably fine. Now approaching here is not as big, so I will just take my enclosure. I'll do a high enclosure. And I think it's fine to just back off here. It's sort of an awkward shape for white, so I'm fine with just responding locally. And so this is I think I've seen it before, and it's not as big of an overplay as I used to think it was, but it's still kind of an awkward shape. So it's sort of a Chinese-like formation, so I think I will go and do the attachment. This is a more modern move for this type of area. So in this case, we can treat this as if it was a 3-3, which would actually be okay. And I can just extend here, just to keep it very simple. I'll just keep extending because it gives me liberties. It makes me strong in the center. Here I can block. Pushing, I'm not sure if it is too important. I'm never going to invade in this area. Not anymore. But I think I can push one time here. It should just be a forcing move. And after he responds, I might do this shoulder hit or block the corner. If I block the corner and he takes this 2 space, it does feel a little bit awkward for me. So it might be better to maybe do this shoulder hit. But it seems fine overall. Yeah, so I said if I block the corner, you could do this 2 space. I could Hane and then do the tiger's mouth. But I think the bottom's pretty low value now. So I just want to make this shape more 3-dimensional by giving it one more side. I think this is the simplest way to do that. I'll just jump this time to make it a little bit different. And he didn't get rid of my tiger's mouth here. This turn is I guess it's potentially big for points, but this was a very important area for control of the center. So it feels really good to play this. Okay. So if I push him this direction, and he does this 2 space, and I take the corner, then that seems like it's fine. If I go from the other way, it seems like it doesn't really matter which way I go. So I think the simplest way to secure some territory is to play on this side. Though this is a little bit close, I prefer the large knight here. And I said if he takes this 2 space, then I will take the corner. This move is actually very important, this move at S17. If you can play it, you should. And he still has to protect these 2 stones if he wants to be strong in the area. I'm going to protect, not protect, but play the shape point, I think. This makes my area very strong and adds some weakness to his area. So I don't think I need to keep playing shape on this group. This group should be alive. So now I want to do something to his group here on the top, and that is I think I want to press it down and make a wall and potentially build something on the left side. So that would be this move here. Get something to drink. If he just responds, then I can attach here and make this nice wall. If he tries to push out, it's a little awkward, but I'm fine in the corner, and I can probably just block and turn it into a fight. Or I can extend, and if he connects up, I can still do the attachment. I'm not sure which one I want to do. Okay. Since he's playing this way, I can just attach and make the wall. So normally you play the wedge here at K16. But he didn't want to do that, so I could wedge myself. And that would give him some cutting points that he has to protect. Or I could play here at H17. But then the Atari through here seems a little bit awkward. So the other option would be just to connect directly. And he can protect in a similar manner. So I think I'll do the wedge. Since he was supposed to wedge, I'm going to wedge instead. And here we have the double Hane, but we also have a lot of Aji on both sides here. So if I double Hane and he connects, I don't have to connect this right away, but that also means that there's no Aji in this area. So I think I'm actually going to extend instead of the double Hane. Because I want to leave this cut here so that I can Hane over the top on this side if he doesn't jump. So he's jumping in to destroy the influence. So I can keep building the influence here and threaten his group. But I don't want him to jump over here like I did here, make the area more three-dimensional to make better eye shape. So I think I want to, at the very least, prevent that and force him to jump out. And if he doesn't jump out, I'll be able to push him towards the wall very severely.
Overtime countdown has begun.
So I will just push him towards the wall, like I said. Just a knight's move, push him towards it. Looks like he just wants to live directly. So that should be fine. Just stay strong. And it should be... Okay, so this is a interesting move. I think a Hane is better for making more eye space. This one is a little bit weird. It's better to have potentially played on this side at B15, because that would have made the most wide eye space here. So let's play B15 ourselves. And then we can just pressure the group and force it to live and surround it. Okay. Just be a little bit careful here because he doesn't have 2 eyes yet. So what he should have done, as I said before, was play where we played at b15 to try to make more eye space. In this case, he's turning here to try to get that eye space. We can probably block and try to force him to live locally, which gives us very strong middle shape. So this is an interesting reading here. If we push here, they have to block. Then we can throw in here, which they then also have to block. And then we can turn here, which gets rid of the eye here.
8, 7, 6, 5,
And there's also this
4,
Hane that we want to do.
3, 2, 1.
So let's push here and see how he responds. See if this works. So there's this move, which threatens to connect up. Ah, good. He's going to push and cut. Oh. Just attach, which makes it so that we can be strong. It's always good to connect when they do something like this instead of doing the Hane. That gives them the Atari. And the Atari can sometimes be really good for them. But now, since these have very strong liberties, he's going to play away. I was going to say, now that there's very strong liberties here, it's hard for him to cut through this and fight. So it's probably a better idea to cut directly if he was going to use this Aji here. So he wants to try to kill this group, which makes sense to me.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
I think we can just play the shape move here.
Overtime countdown has begun.
So the Panuki, pushing him towards the wall. So here's something we'll have to read out. If we attach here, and he Hanes, and we cut, and he goes out, then we can capture the stone. So if he connects here, then we can capture this stone. Is there anything else he can do there? It looks a little bit difficult. There's probably other moves we can play as well.
9,
But the direct attachment here seems like it connects the most securely.
4.
The shape is usually not good shape for attacking in this way. If he wanted to cut it off, it was better for him to just push up solidly. But in this case, I have too many liberties on my stones, which means no matter how he plays here, it's awkward for his stones.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4.
The best way for him to play, is probably to try to just turn this bottom area into points. So in this case, I'm just going to capture the stone like I wanted to. And connect. I don't really have to worry about anything here. Not really. If he pushes and cuts, it is a little bit dangerous. So
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I think I will just defend my shape. Make it very simple. The group on the left is dead. So if I keep this very strong here, then I'll be able to potentially make some points in the center without him being able to get into it very easily. So like I talked about before, this Hane is really quite interesting. I'm not sure if we should cut Atari and then Hane, or Hane directly, but I think just Hane directly should be fine. This will help grow this area, and it should be fairly forcing. So we can cut here because of this on the top here, all the cutting points. Just connect. So let's use these cutting points. If he connects here, we just capture, and that's fine. He can capture this one stone to connect up his groups, but we'll be able to defend the corner.
9.
Okay. So we want to Hane underneath here, because our focus should be on defending the corner right now. Ah, now my ear itches. My headphones. There we go. So we can connect here to capture these 3 stones for sure. He gets to cut off these 2 stones, but that's probably a little bit bigger, honestly. And then we still have
9,
this Hane here in the corner.
7,
So let's connect here. He can capture these 2 stones, and we can capture the top side.
Nine, 8, 7, 6.
Okay. So I think we'll just capture directly. He should be alive here. Yeah, I don't mind blocking. He does have Aji here, but it's not too big of a deal. It's just end game right now. And the bigger area is probably trying to build a little bit more here. So it looks like we can cut here. If he Ataris this way, we can Atari this and capture these 3 stones and save our 2 stones. So let's do this cut. Since he's letting us out here, we get to capture a larger area in the center, which is really nice. We can just keep extending because he's not really building any points on this side. And we're getting even more each time he pushes. I think right now would be the best time for him to try to come in, but his only area to come in is on this side, which has a little bit of Aji in his position if I get to
9,
jump here.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
This one is a very questionable move. There's only one response. This shape is very, very solid. This is the only shape that has any sort of Aji to it. But he has to play a move to cut off my stones in order for that Aji to be used. And the second he cuts it off, I can capture this stone.
8,
So we
7,
have to just separate. And this is a very, very deep invasion. If you wanted to try something here, maybe the attachment would have worked better. So this is still very deep. And I don't really have any weakness anywhere on the board. So we just need to separate him. So I'm going to jump here, which is also threatening to attack the bottom side. But also just separate. Looks like we can just push and cut. I'm just threatening the very nice jump into here now. So he's trying to make some shape here. So there's lots of different ways to handle that. If he pushes here and I Hane and he Hane's back, he does get one eye in this area potentially. But I'm very, very strong in the area, so I could fight back very severely.
6,
So I think the
4,
point to take here is actually this one, which prevents another tiger's mouth and prevents this from becoming an eye if I get to push in here at F8. So instead of the Hane here, because there's no cutting point if he pushes, right? We can do the clamp, or we can do the Atari and then Atari out. I think the just clamp directly is fine. As I said, there's no weakness in our shape, which means that there's nothing we have to worry about. We can just jump out. As long as these stones can maintain a solid connection towards the center, we're fine. And the center really has no weakness again. I can just extend here because he can't push and cut. I can just connect up my stones. And just keep extending. He hasn't made one eye yet. And it's looking even more difficult to make an eye in the center.
nine,
So I can just connect here. I'm connecting instead of doing any sort of bamboo joint because this is threatening to push and cut. And then I can throw in on either side of this to get rid of this eye or just push in here. So there's no eye here. And connecting gives me the most amount of liberties and the least amount of force moves on his side.
9,
So I think basically any sort of connection there would be fine. So he's threatening to make an eye here, and he's threatening to make an eye here, but he does not have an eye on either side. So really there's nothing left for him over here. So I think it's time to play somewhere else.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
And I think we can try to do something on the bottom. Now that he's done this move, we just throw in here, and there's no eye. he has to capture this stone, or else his stones are disconnected, so he can't play any other move on this side. Ah, yes, he ended up resigning. Okay, cool. I forget that you don't get a notification when they resign on Tygem, so he probably resigned a couple seconds ago, and I just
You
didn't
have a
even
game
notice.
request.
Game request. Let's refuse that. All right. Let's ignore invites, and let's look at this game really quick. I think this was actually a pretty interesting game. Um, I think this was a good example of just playing very solidly and taking advantage of your opponent playing sort of the improper moves. So if we look here, this move was really just slow, so it's not too big of a deal. But this was sort of an awkward move for him to play. You can invade right away and try to take advantage of it, but it's not too terrible. This might not be the best move here, but I'm fine with it. And so him pushing here and allowing me to get this move and then get the tiger's mouth here really gave me a lot of center control. After I have this center control, it seems very difficult for white to do anything in the center. It should be fairly dominated by my area, so he should probably try to get some sort of center control himself here. And the way that I would want to do that is maybe just this shoulder hit. If I respond and he jumps out and he just plays simple, I don't know if he has the ladder for this. Yeah, no ladder for this one, so we can just do this one. But if you just play simple here, now he's negating my potential center moyo and having a little bit of control for himself. This does give me the opportunity to try to build something along the top, but this is sort of the thing that white should probably do here because he gave up strength in order to get a little bit of more territory in the corner. And it's actually quite hard for me to take the top in one move. Since he has a little bit of center strength, it also makes it easier for him to invade depending on whatever move I played on the top. So this is sort of the steady way to play on this board. Invading is also fine, but he has to understand that I'm probably going to be able to build something in the center if he does just a simple splitting invasion here. I'm not sure which one is the best way to go, but I still think this is a simple way to play. And again, the center is very important. So at this point, he does not need to worry about this end game move. He should be jumping out here and helping prevent me from building something. Or he can go back over to this shoulder hitting move to preemptively reduce this side. But apart from that, we just get into some potential shape issues. He gave me this very strong wall with the ability to grow the wall. If we look at in the game, I have this option available to me, which is sort of just sealing off this area and connecting my stones, right? That means that my wall is very large and fairly strong, since it's also connected to a living shape. So I could be very aggressive here and try to go for a kill if I really want to. But at the very least, I can just attack him in this sort of way, which should allow me to get something on the bottom, because he will want to connect up this way. I could even try to be a bit more severe, but I can get this sort of leaning attack, and if he tries to protect himself, it allows me to take advantage and get rid of some of his territory. I don't need to kill this. I don't need to try to make points with this center area. I just need to force him to run towards something that'll allow me to get some sort of advantage in the area, even if he's able to connect up or live. So him trying to live directly is actually not that bad of an idea, but he just did it in the wrong way. So when I block here, if he wants to try to just live locally, he should try to build his eye shape as wide as possible and just make the vital point right away. If he thinks it's hard to run out, then this is the right way to play. If he wants to try to live in Sinte, he could attach and say that this is an eye. Now, it's a little bit difficult because I'm very strong in the area, so I might be able to play on the inside, like so. But he can probably figure out a way to live. If we just play simple like this, for example. But in the game, he played on the side that actually does not increase his eye shape. And so this is something that I see quite often. So it's something you should really try to pay attention to when you're trying to live in your opponent's area. This does increase the eye space a little bit, but it doesn't do it by that much. And then when I go to reduce the eye space on the what I would call the more proper spot for where white should have played, now you need to try to increase the eye space again as white. And that would be this sort of attachment here. Because as you see, there's a little bit of eye space here now. So if I continue to surround, let's just say I surround like this, then when you block here, it's likely that there are two eyes here. It's still possible that there's not, but it's a lot more likely. But just blocking actually does not grow the eye space. It's keeping the same eye space that was there, and then I can still reduce from the outside, and now I'm having more potential to actually have points here, which is why it's better, in my opinion, to do some sort of reduction instead, which is why I was expecting him to jump out here. And the same sort of story happens a little bit later on with like me getting more strength here. Then he jumps in to try to live in the center, which is difficult, but possible. However, he needs to try to build eye space on a larger area versus what he was doing in the game, which was this sort of move. Instead of this one, if you really want to try to make something work here, you definitely do want to do this and this cut here. I probably have to capture this stone. Then you have this sort of attachment. And so now you have what looks like a potential eye over here. You have some sort of peep here. And the area is probably a little bit too strong to really live directly. But using these forcing moves, you can see how there's a lot of potential in the center here. However, as I said, black is very, very powerful. So I can probably just play something like this, which is pointing at the vital point here, which is where white wanted to play. So if white plays there themselves, I can probably just peep and even very crudely push and not really worry about the points here because this group is dead and this group is very likely dead. So it's a little bit difficult, but if he wants to do it, he needs to make this as wide as possible and not play a very tight way like he did in the game, which was this sort of move. Even if I just turn here, this is already sort of bad because I'm so strong in the area, it seems quite impossible to turn this into any eye at all. That seems like the biggest mistakes that my opponent made were just reading errors here. I could understand maybe not being able to read the left side, but they are 1Q, and I think this is possible. So I hope you guys enjoyed this game, and I think I will see you in the next video. It's probably Wednesday, the 5Q series, maybe becoming 3Q in the next video. So have a good day, everyone, and have fun.